Hey guys, whew, it's a little chilly this morning. It's coffee weather. I'm gonna make some coffee, obviously. Uh, Find all my paraphernalia. So I went to the thrift shop this morning. Had my son with me because, he goes to the church. He's the sound guy at the church. He's in the sound booth, and he loads in lyrics and scripture and stuff like that for Sunday service. So he was with me at the thrift shop because I drop him off. It's too early to drop him off before I go to the thrift shop, and it's just about right. Like if I spend about a half hour in the thrift shop looking around, then it works out anyway. So he was I went straight to the jewelry and the toys because that's kind of like my forte. I like those areas. But he found a train track, and it was like in a different kind of an area. It wasn't in the toys. And it's a Bachman, an old Bachman. It's pretty cool. So here it is. And this particular train, well, I was going to say in track, but the only track it has is this. So it doesn't have a track. It's an N scale. MNO, N scale. And I think they started making it in the 20s, like 1929, I believe I read. It was prevalent like in the 1960s. So somewhere between probably the 30s and the 60s, I would say closer to the 60s, this track is from, which I don't know that. I'm just assuming it's in pretty good condition. But like this is some of the paperwork that came with it, different deals and the old paperwork. But like I said, it doesn't have tracks. Tracks, we looked them up online. He did, and they're about $40 to $50 for tracks. The train was only $10. I mean, he found it, but he decided not to get it because he didn't really want to spend an extra 40 or 50 for the tracks. I'm willing to do that because I'm not going to resell this, even though I could break it apart and sell it and probably make a couple hundred on it. But what I think I'm going to do is, they've been watching videos on how to build like little structures and different things for the train track, like to make a town. And I thought this would be a fun project for the family. So it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to all of us. So no one has to get mad. Like, oh, he found this and I found that and blah, blah, blah. Just make it like a family thing where we can together build a little city or something and have the train going through it. And of course, this is providing that it works. It may not work. I'm guessing that it does. It looks real clean, real nice. But anyway, I got that today because he didn't want it. So I got it for $10. There were other people wanting it too. If you don't get that, I'll buy it. Let me know. I'll buy it. Hey, if you don't get that, I'd like to have it. So also, I got this. Don't ask why. I mean, please. I don't know why, but it's a lot of, I like little things, like little toys and stuff, but it has a whole bunch of little dolls in here. And I know that's kind of weird. This is to resell, so maybe it's not so weird. I don't even know what they are. So, I just, from past experience, know that $5 for a big lot like this that has a lot of different things. It has cars in it. It has, just tons of things, cars and furniture and a lot of little different kind of dolls, which I have no idea what they are, but I know it's worth $5. A lot of dolls, just tons and tons of these little dolls. And then it has some big ones, which, well, let me pull up her dress because she's kind of uncovered. Anyway, Anyway, there she is, but she's missing an arm, and I don't know if, or a hand. I don't know if that's in there or not. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. A lot of little toys. I don't know what they are. I don't even see a mark on them. It says RL. Oh wait, there's a mark. MGA 2018. 2018. So 7-8 years old. Like I said, I did get this to resell. I admit it. It also has like other dolls. A lot of stuff. But anyway, for $5. Other than that, I don't really have a lot to do today. I think I'll do a little tiny bit of Christmas shopping. And it's got my head cut off here. Let me adjust this. As I said in the prior video, we've decided to go to the Pigeon Forge area in Tennessee and spend one whole day, get us all tickets for unlimited go-kart rides, and spend a whole day at the track. Woo! Gee. I always turn it the wrong way. I mean, like 95% of the time. And I'm trying to turn it off. But that's going to be fun. We're all going to enjoy that. I told my wife, though, like, last time on the way back in Tennessee and maybe a little bit of North Carolina, they had, oh my gosh, they were working on the road, and I think it was I-40, and they had the barriers and lights really close, so it was only one lane, and I mean, it looked like the oncoming traffic was just like that far away from you. It was terrible. I was so stressed out because you have to just drive like really, like if you go this way you hit the barriers, if you go a little bit that way you hit the barriers, and sometimes there's only cones and there's traffic coming at you 65 miles an hour, semis and stuff, tractor trailers, and it was very, very, very stressful. So I told my wife, I said, we need to find an alternate route coming home. I don't care if it takes us 2 hours longer to get home. I don't want to do that again. I felt like our life was at risk. It was really bad. And we have a small car. It was very stressful. So anyway, I'd like to avoid that. But we're going to the same hotel we were at. We were staying at when we went to Dollywood here a while back, like a month or so ago. We're going to the same hotel because we really enjoyed that hotel. So anyway, we have a live nativity at our church that starts soon, and we'll all be in it on Sunday night. I will be a shepherd this year. I was a wise man last year, but this year I didn't feel like I could kneel down because of my arthritis in my knees. It's really hurting lately, and it could be okay one day and the next day be terrible, and I didn't want to take a chance on disrespecting baby Jesus by not kneeling. So I said I can't do it this year. I can be a shepherd. So that's what's going to happen. That's how it's going to go down. Oh, man. I know I'm crazy, but man, when I see that coffee being poured like hot water and it's starting to turn that perfect color, I start thinking, oh, baby. Oh, That's what dreams are made of. Anyway, I don't know if I said, but I have nothing to do today. It's probably 11:15 or so in the morning, and I don't pick my son up until around 3:30, and I have nothing to do but like I said, I may go get some Christmas presents. We are going to do light Christmas, Anyway, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Our plans is to come back, leave the hotel around 9, maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, and traveling and getting home at whatever, 2 in the morning, say, and still be able to go to bed on Christmas morning rather, and getting up and having a few gifts under the tree. Not a lot, but a few. So, and then Christmas dinner, that's going to be cooked ahead of time, like Saturday, and then just warmed up on Christmas Day. So everything's already made. Usually we do it on Christmas Eve. We all just are in the kitchen pitching in together, but we'll just pitch in together a little earlier this time and get it done. And then, yeah, having the refrigerator waiting for us when we come home. I mean, this is something new for us, and hopefully it'll start a new tradition. We're like, that's what we're thinking, that we could maybe do this every year. It would be a nice thing to do. And who knows, maybe go to the same hotel and do the same things every year. I don't know. While the boys are still interested in it. But I mean, let's face it, I'm 119 and I still like go-karts. I mean, I just really enjoy it. So, they're a lot younger. So I would assume that, a lot of young adults also like go-karts. So, anyway, we'll see. I know I do. I'm like a big kid though. I mean, I like all kind of things the kids like. I don't think I've ever actually grown up or something. I don't know, but I'm not ashamed of that. I find a lot of things still magical in life, and I enjoy life. Yeah, I'm not one of those guys who's going to just sit in front of the TV and watch sports all day. And I'm not knocking that. If that's what you do, that's fine. I'm not knocking that at all. To each his own. I'm just not into sports that much. When I was in high school and college, I played college baseball. I excelled at it. I did very well. They wanted me to play football because they saw me during PE at school catching all the passes and stuff, and really, I excelled at that too, but I didn't really want to play football. They wanted me to play basketball, which I did for a year, but I didn't really care for it, but I was good at it. And then they wanted me to do track and field, long distance. And I mean, I didn't want to do it. The only thing I really wanted to do is play baseball. That's what I did. So that gets back to now, current day, the only sports that I watch is the World Series every year. That is entirely it. I cannot tell you who won the Super Bowl last year or the year before, who was even in the Super Bowl. I have no idea. I probably couldn't even name 5 basketball teams, professional. I mean, I just don't know who they are. It seemed like the Knicks, the Jets. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't follow it. And the only players I know are like absolute superstars that are, like kind of known to everybody. I just don't follow sports. And like I say, I'm not knocking anybody that does. I mean, that's fine. I'm an artist. I paint. A lot of people could care less about that. And that's cool. It makes the world go around, right? We're all different. But, yeah. It's actually a nice day. It's a little cool. Overcast. I mean, I swear it looks like it could snow. I mean, it won't, but that's how it looks. It looks like it could snow. Yeah. We were talking this morning. I don't know how it came up, but about when I was younger, I took a road trip with a friend. I grew up in Florida, and we came up to, Tennessee. I think we came through the Carolinas. Yeah, of course we did, because we went through Cherokee. But I was on the Parkway, first time ever on the Parkway, Blue Ridge Parkway. And I remember my dad said, I had a little car, but he said, you need to try to use your brakes as little as possible, because you'll just burn them out, constantly putting them on, coming down on the Parkway, this area that comes down in a lot of curves. He said, you'll burn your brakes out. So it was 2 or 3 in the morning, foggy, and I was on the Parkway with my friend. I was driving, and we're zipping around these corners, and I kept gearing down. It was a stick shift. I would gear down, but sometimes I'd have to go over into the other lane, which you could see. If anyone was coming, you could see, because it was foggy and it was nighttime, and the lights, you could see it. It was like, what I was doing was actually, it sounds dangerous, but it had been there. It wasn't. You could see if anybody was coming, and I would stay more and use my brakes, because I was trying to, go faster, I guess. I mean, not trying to go faster, but I was going faster because I was using my brakes as little as possible and downshifting, and I would go across the line quite often. Well, there's a car behind me, and they were just, right behind me for miles and miles, and no big deal. They didn't seem like they wanted to get past me or anything. But anyway, eventually, in the distance, like I said, you could see the lights. It wasn't dangerous, but I could see blue, a lot of blue flashing lights around the corner. And when I went around the corner, I figured there'd be a wreck. Nah, they had the roadblock. 2 cops, their lights on, and they were standing out by their car waiting on me. The car behind me was an unmarked police car. So they stopped me, got us out of the car. They made me do, the test, follow my finger up and down. They made me walk a straight line. And I said, man, I don't drink. I haven't been drinking. And eventually one of the cops that were waiting on me, he believed me. And I told him, I said, man, I've just never driven on the Parkway in my life. And my dad said, I could burn the brakes out. And I said, we have to go all the way back to Florida. And I could see that no one was coming because of the lights and stuff. So yeah, I admit I was crossing the yellow line some. And the guy that was behind me, he had an attitude like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He was driving really reckless, and you need to get him a ticket. And I think they even said like he wanted me arrested or something for like reckless driving or something. The other guy was real cool. He was like, yeah, obviously, I don't know what the guy's name was, but he said his name, like, obviously Mark, say his name was Mark, he hasn't been drinking. I believe him. He's passed all the tests, and, he's got Florida plates. I mean, I believe his story. And he said, I'm just going to blah, blah, blah. And the other guy says, well, I think he should be, arrested and at the very least given a ticket. I mean, he was all over the road. I mean, he was exaggerating because I wasn't as bad as he said. But anyway, the other guy must have been like maybe over him or something, because he said, no, I'm going to let him go because I believe him. And he just looked at me. He said, just son, he called me son. He said, son, just be careful. And there's an exit up here a little bit. He said, just get off the Parkway. He said, that way you won't have to worry about it, and just, look at directions on where you're going and how to get there from there. But just go ahead and get off the Parkway. And if you can do that, then I'm just going to let you go. I'm going to let you go. That's how it went down. I was probably 21, something like that. And he let me go. The other guy was mad, man. The other guy was like, throw him in jail. Throw away the key. Put him under the jail. Guillotine. I mean, the guy was like, he was wanting to do me in, I'm telling you. Anyway, I don't even know, like I said, I don't know how that even came up today, but it did at breakfast. I cook breakfast, of course. I've told you that before, but I cook breakfast for my family 6 days a week. But we were sitting around the table, and I forgot. I have no idea how that came up. Weird thing to come up at the breakfast table. Something that happened 110 years ago. But anyway, that's all I'm doing. Yeah, I have to do a Google Lens on these. I mean, there's several different things here because like these seem to be maybe together, and there's a lot of these different sizes. But there's also like, well, I guess this is probably just a baby because they have the same eyes. Maybe they are all the same. The same toy because they all have the same eyes. And then you have the bigger ones, several of the bigger ones. Like I say, So, I don't know. I like little things, not necessarily dolls, but I like little miniature things. Man, there are so many dolls. It's crazy. Okay, now she's fully clothed, so I can show you her, but she still has the big eyes. But she's obviously, something different. And I don't know, sometimes on the neck they have the writing. Okay, then here it is. Let's see what it says. Well, this says it's 2019 MGA. Something entertainment, blah, 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 China. So, anyway. I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee. Thanks for joining me. Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you have a good holiday season, which includes, the New Year's and all that. But, of course, Merry Christmas because that comes first. Yeah. I'm just looking at all the traffic in my rearview mirror, and I see this pink and white. I don't know, you probably couldn't see it, but what kind of a contraption that is. It's a trailer, pink and white, and it's got like neon lights that are on going around one of the like windows. It's like probably a vendor thing, like they sell cotton candy or something. Anyway, God bless you guys. God loves you so much. I encourage you, please read the Bible to some degree every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.